When you look at Junipero Serra, I think it's very important to put it in context, the time that he lived.
The history and treatment of the indigenous peoples of California is complex, controversial, and often painful.
Serra was a part of the colonial efforts of Spain coming out here to the Americas. He was front and center in that.
St Junipero Serra, a devout Franciscan, came to the Americas to proclaim the gospel and bring souls to Christ.
But it was two things. It was the churches, the missions, and you had the government aspect of it, which was the presidios.
Presidios, or military forts, housed Spanish soldiers. Scholars say Serra saw native populations, particularly women, being abused by the soldiers and others living at the presidios, which prompted him to move the mission away from the dangers. But he didn't stop there to protect native communities.
He goes to Mexico City with a lengthy memorandum of something like 8,000 words, insisting on the observance of what we would today call the human rights or the civil rights of the native population. So Serra was a great defender of the rights of these people whom he loved and wanted to see saved, eternally saved.
Pope Francis proclaimed Junipero Serra a saint in 2015 during his visit to the United States. He is the first Hispanic saint of the U.S. Just a few years later, however, as political and racial divides continued to grow in the U.S., California legislators passed a bill almost unanimously to replace a statue of St. Junipero in Sacramento, claiming enslavement of both adults and children, mutilation, genocide, and assault on women were all part of the mission period initiated and overseen by Father Serra. The Hispanic Council recently defended Serra, declaring, "This new attack on his figure lacks historical rigor. It's also an attack on the Hispanic legacy of the United States and California, which must be respected and cherished, as Junipero himself represented in his time of dedication and service to the native population." Archbishops Jose Gomez of Los Angeles and Salvatore Cordileone of San Francisco wrote a forceful op-ed in the Wall Street Journal. They said that while there is much to criticize from this period, no serious historian has ever made such outrageous claims about Serra or the mission system, the network of 21 communities that Franciscans established along the California coast to evangelize native people. We understand the bitter history of native exploitation, but history can be complicated and facts matter. St. Junipero Serra's mission work was not easy. He left a prestigious position as a scholar in Mallorca, traveled to the New World, and was a great architect of the missions in California during his lifetime.
And the acknowledgement that this man, quite apart from the supernatural realities that he brought to the natives in terms of opening the gates of heaven, brought extensive contributions at the natural level. Agricultural contributions, irrigation, crop rotation, animal husbandry, textiles, metallurgy, tanning, polyphony, my personal favorite, viticulture.
But this history seems to go unrecognized as racial, political, and cultural tensions in the U.S. seem only to be escalating. Attacks on his legacy continue. Statues of Serra have been taken down across California. Especially shocking was the assault on the statue in Golden Gate Park in San Francisco.
Serra is taking the blame for everything that happened bad in colonial times.
Assaults that scholars say are undeserved.
This absolutely heroic man who just gave his life to his last breath so that people could spend eternity with their Creator in heaven.